my name is Santilly, and today I'm going to be going over the basic blocks and kicks in Taekwondo and the first 6 moves of the first pattern in Taekwondo, which is called Chon Ji. So we'll start with our bow. So you bring your heels together, so your feet are pointing out to the side like this, and then arms out to the side. When I say chariot, your attention starts, and when I say kunye, then you bow. So chariot, kunye. Okay, we're going to have a little warm up just to start. So bringing your arms forwards, big circles, and then big circles backwards as well. And then bringing your arms up and just twisting from one side to the other side. I'm just rotating my feet from side to side as well. And then star jumps. And then I'm just going to switch my feet backwards and forwards. And then just adding punches to this, just throwing your arms straight forwards for now. And then taking your legs out side to side. And then again, adding the punches at the same time. Good, and then just bringing one leg up and out to the side and alternating. And then just lean in and stretch it up over your head to the side. And then over to the other side as well. And then just bouncing nice and light on your toes. Hands just in a guard in front of you here. Okay, shift forwards, 2 punches, 1, 2, shift back. Just staying nice and light on your feet. So we're just warming up still. Shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Then if you swap so you have the other leg in front. And then same thing, so shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Good, and again ready, shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Stay nice and low on your feet, and again shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Good, and one more ready, shift forwards, 2 punches, shift back. Good, okay, this time then, you're just going to lift your leg straight up, out to the side and back down. Just start nice and low, because again we're just warming up, so up and out to the side, then same on the other leg, up and out to the side. We're going to keep doing this and then gradually getting higher and higher. So just keep alternating. Hold there. This time you can go into a long stretch like this. So you're going to have your back leg straight and your front leg bent, and then just lean forwards into the front leg. And then you're going to lift your back heel up, lower yourself down. If you find it easier to put your hands on the floor, you can put your hands on the floor instead of leaning on your front leg. And then same thing on the other side, so turn and face the other way. Both feet leg straight, front leg bent, and just lean into that front knee. And then lift your back heel up, lower yourself down. And again, if you want to put your hands on the floor to make it slightly easier, then you can. And then taking your legs apart, and you're going to reach up nice and tall, and then you're just going to reach forwards, and then just reach down as low as you can. And then reach up again, and same thing to keep your knees straight. Then you're going to lean forwards, and then lean all the way down to the floor. And then from this position, you're going to lean over to one leg. Try and bring your chest all the way down to that leg. And then over to the other side, same thing. Try and bring your chest all the way down. And now just back to that middle position if you can. See if you can put your hands on the floor. If not, then just reach down as far as you can. Good, and then just taking a seat on the floor. Bringing your feet right in towards you, and then hands around your feet. You're going to try and push your knees down towards the floor, so just as low as you can get them. And stand up. Okay, so we're nice and warmed up, so now we're going to get on with the blocks and stances and the basic kicks. So the first block that we're going to do is a low block, and we're going to do this in walking stance. So for a walking stance, you're going to take one foot forwards, and you're going to have your front knee bent and your back leg straight. For a walking stance, your feet are 1 shoulder width wide and 1.5 long. So if you look this way, it's 1 wide and 1.5 long. So a walking stance is the first stance that we're going to practice, and that is the only one that we're going to be using today. Okay, so then we're going to go on to our blocks. So the first block that we're going to do is a low block. So this is down just in front of you, using your outer forearm, this part of your arm here, to block your body from a front snap kick. So if someone was kicking towards you, you're coming down, blocking it on top. Okay, so how to perform this block? You cross your hands at a higher point than where the block finishes. So I'm going to cross my hand, my blocking hand, which at the moment is my right hand. My blocking hand is going to go on top, back to back. So if you were wearing a watch on this arm and a watch on this arm, the two watch faces would be together. So if I'm using my right arm is on top. And if I'm using my left arm is on top. Okay, so we're going to practice some walking stance low blocks. So from here we're going to step forwards into our walking stance, and we're going to do our low block. We bring our other hand back to our hip. This is our reaction hand. Okay, back to ready. Then you're going to do the same thing on the other leg. So I'm stepping forwards on my left leg. So my left arm is going to do the low block, and my left hand is therefore on top. So stepping forwards, left leg, low block. And then my right hand comes back to my hip here. We're just going to do this a few more times. So we do another 4, 2 on each leg. is our parallel ready stance. This is our ready position where we start and we finish before we do each of our blocks. Okay, moving on to the second block then that we're going to learn. This is our middle block, and this block is the same height as our shoulder. So a middle block has slightly different crossing to our low block that we practiced earlier, and that is because with your low block, you're blocking with your outer forearm, so your arm has to twist this way to get the most power. When you do your middle block, you're blocking with your inner forearm, the inside of the arm, and you're twisting the other way, so you cross differently from the first one. So for our middle block, we're going to cross with our blocking hand underneath our top hand and both palms down towards the floor. So if I'm blocking with my right arm is underneath my left arm, and I'm going to block across. This one is shoulder height. Okay, and if I'm blocking with my left hand is underneath, blocking across. And again, when you do this, you start at a higher point from where the block finishes. So you start crossing higher, and then it finishes on the way down. Okay, so we're going to practice a few of these now. So from our parallel ready stance, we're going to step forwards into our walking stance again and do our middle block. So if we step onto our right leg first, stepping forwards, right leg, right hand, middle block. So my right hand is underneath, I step forwards and I'm blocking across. Make sure you're not coming up with your middle block. You're using your arm to knock something out of the way. So if someone threw a punch towards you, you're knocking their arm as you come through. Okay, now let's try the left leg. So stepping onto my left leg this time, my left hand will be underneath, palms down again, stepping forwards, middle block, and remember you cross higher than where you finish. Okay, now let's practice 4 of those. So 2 on each leg, right leg first. And back to parallel ready stance. Okay, the next block we're going to practice then is our high block. So this one comes across and it is eye level. It's the other way around to our middle block, which was this way. You turn your hand so you can see the back of your hand, and it's slightly higher at eye height. So for our high block, we're again using our outer forearm. So I'm going to cross with my blocking hand on top, back to back, and then I'm going to twist out for my high block using my outer forearm, and this one is eye level, so the same height as your eye here. And then same if I'm doing my left hand, so it's left arm on top, back to back, and then twisting out, and again this is eye level. Okay, so let's have a go at doing a few of those. So from our parallel ready stance, our ready position, we're going to step forwards onto our right leg and do a right arm high block. So we're going to go right hand on top, back to back, stepping forwards, high block, and again you're still crossing higher than where the high block is going to finish at eye level. And then back to ready, then we're going to do our left hand, so our left hand is going to go on top, back to back, so I'm stepping forward, crossing higher than where it finishes, high block, making sure you can see the back of my hand this time, and back to ready. Now let's practice 4 of those, so we're going to step forward on our right leg first, right hand, ready, then left side, okay, the last block that we're going to practice is our rising block, and this one comes up and protects your head from a downward strike. So if someone was to strike you above the head like this, then you're using your arm to protect your head. So you need to make sure that your whole arm is across your head and not just your hands like this, otherwise they still might get you on the head. So you need to bring your arm across just slightly, and you should have about one of your hands gap between your head and your arm, so your arm isn't resting on your head, there is a gap in between it. So for a rising block, you cross at solar plexus height. So if you don't know what your solar plexus is, if you feel your ribs and then go up to the point where your ribs join, the soft bit in the middle here is your solar plexus. So that's the height that your arms cross at. You don't cross higher than where you finish for your rising block. And for your rising block, you're using your outer forearm again. So this part here, which means we're going to cross the same way as our low block and our high block. So it's going to be block in hand on top, back to back, and then we're going to twist up, rising block, protecting our head. And then if you do the left hand, it's going to be left hand on top, back to back, crossing at that solar plexus height here. And then we're going to twist up, rising block. And you'll notice that my arm isn't directly straight over my head like this. It is at a slight angle going up. And that's because if you have your arm completely straight, then when you get hit here, all of the power will be absorbed on your arm, whereas if it's an angle, the power will be absorbed, but some of it will go off to the side, so it won't have such an impact on your arm. What you'll also notice is that I'm blocking with the bony part of my arm here and not the squishy part where my veins are. So be careful not to over-rotate your arm and block with the squishy bit here. You're blocking with your bone, as that's the hard bit, that's what's going to protect your head, and it's going to cause less damage to your arm if you get hit than if you use the bit where all of your veins are. So let's practice a few of those going forwards. We're going to step forwards into walking stance, rising block. So we're going solar plexus height, right hand on top, back to back, because I'm doing my right leg first, and then back to ready. Now left leg, so left hand on top, back to back, twisting out, rising block. And back to ready. Now let's practice a few of those. So right leg, right arm first. Okay, now we're going to practice some of our basic kicks. So the first one we're going to practice is a front snap kick. So for this kick, you're going to lift up the leg that you want to kick with, so your knee is bent in this position. For your front snap kick, you kick with the ball of the foot, and this is the bit underneath where your toes are here. Okay, so you're going to pull your toes back, you're striking with this part of the foot. I'm going to lift up my leg, and then from the knee is where I do the kick. So I flick fast from the knee and then bring it back into here. Okay, try and keep your balance. I'm just going to show you from the side. So same thing, I'm going to lift and kick into here. And again, lift, kick in front, step down, have a go on the other leg as well. So you're going to lift, get your balance first, knees in position, flicking from the knee, pull your toes back, straight forwards, front snap kick, and then have a go again. So we're going to lift up, our leg into this position here, flicking from the knee, front snap kick, and down, and again, one more, lifting, flicking from the knee nice and fast, and then stepping down into position. Okay, so let's do a few of those in walking stance. So from here, you're going to lift, front snap kick, and you're going to step down into our walking stance we were practicing earlier. Then come back to ready, same on the other side, lift, flick, step into walking stance. Let's do two more of those. Lift, flick, step into walking stance, and one more, lift, flick, and step down into walking stance. Good. And back to ready. Okay, so the next kick that we're going to practice is our turning kick, and that looks like this. That's a turning kick. So, the first thing we need to practice is our foot positioning. When we did our front snap kick, we kept our foot on the floor, completely straightforward. All we did was we just lifted, kicked from the knee, flick in front, and then back to this position. For our turning kick, it's slightly different. We need to rotate the foot on the floor, the one that we're not kicking with, to 90 degrees. So So I'm going to lift my foot up, and then the foot on the floor is going to rotate 90 degrees to the side like this, so that I'm in the right position. So every time you do a turning kick, the first thing you do before you do the kick is you lift your knee, the one that you're going to kick with, but then the foot on the floor pivots to the side like this. So now that we've got the foot positioning, we can do the kick. So we lift our knee up into this position here, our foot on the floor pivots to the side, and then what you're going to do is you're going to lift your knee up, so it's in this chambered position here, and you're going to lift your foot up to try and almost get it in a line with where your knee is. So don't worry if you can't lift your leg up really high at the moment. All you're going to do is just lift, turn it. You can only go to here, that's absolutely fine. Just get your leg into this position. Then what you're going to do is you're going to bring your heel all the way back to your bottom as far as you can, and then you're going to do your kick from the knee again, like we did with our front snap kick. So you're just going to extend from the knee and flick across, turning kick. So when we did our front snap kick, we lifted and we kicked directly in front of us here. With our turning kick, it's slightly different. You're kicking at 45 degrees, so at a slight angle. You're not trying to bring your body all the way around to the front here for the kick. You're kicking and stopping at this angle. So we'll try that again. We're going to lift our knee, pivot the foot on the floor to the side, heel back to our bottom, and then flicking across at 45 degrees. Again, pulling your toes back, turning kick. Okay, and we'll try that again. So lifting our leg up, foot on the floor pivots to the side, bringing our knee so it's in line with our foot here, and then we're going to kick across at 45 degrees, turning kick. Good, let's do one more on this leg. So from here, we're going to lift our knee up, turn the foot on the floor to the side, turning kick position, and then flicking across at 45 degrees. Okay, now we're going to try the other leg. So again, lifting up the leg you're going to kick with, the foot on the floor, the standing leg, pivots 90 degrees to the side, get your balance, make sure that your knee and your foot are almost in a line, and then from here again we're going to kick across at 45 degrees, flicking from the knee, excellent, and then we're going to try again, so lifting up the kicking leg, the foot on the floor, pivots to the side, and then from here, get your balance, bring your heel back to your bottom, and then flicking across from the knee. Good, let's do one more on this leg. So you're going to balance on the standing leg, lift the back leg up, turn, flick across. Good, turning kick. And back to our parallel ready stance. Okay, now we're going to do a few of those fast, and we're going to land just in a walking ready stance like we did for our front snap kick. So from here, right leg turning kick. Good, and then just into a walking stance. Back to ready, left leg turning kick. Good, into a walking stance, and back to ready. Other leg again, turning kick, stepping down, and then same on the other leg. Good, and stepping down. Okay, the next thing we're going to learn is how to do a walking stance punch. So, when you do a punch in walking stance, you need to make sure that your thumbs are on the outsides of your hands like this, not on the sides like this, just underneath your fingers, and you're punching with these two main knuckles here. So you're using your whole of your hand, but these are the two main ones for impact. Okay, so having your hand in this position, and then we're going to get on with our punches. So now that we know the position of our hands, I'm going to show you how you do a punch and the positioning of your shoulders for a walking stance. So what you don't want to do when you're punching is throw your arm forwards and lean into the punch like this. Do you see how my shoulders are at an angle like this? That's not what we want. So from here, you're going to reach and punch, and your shoulders are going to be square. And what that means is that if you draw a line from here to here, your shoulders should be on one straight line rather than leaning into it like this. Okay, so I'm going to step forwards, walking stance punch, and how you get your power in your punch, for everything else we've done, we've crossed for our blocks to help us get power. What we do is we use our reaction hand to reach, and then we bring it back to our hip fast as we throw the punch forwards. So I step forwards, I reach with the hand that I'm not punching with, and then as they cross over, they speed up, and they both finish at the same time. So I punch forwards, and my hand comes back to my hip at the same time, and this is to the center line of the body. So what this means is that your hand isn't in line with your shoulder, you're punching, if you drew a line down the middle of your body, you're punching in the center line here, okay? Then if we try on the other side, so same thing, I'm gonna step forwards on my left leg. So I'm gonna reach with my right arm, but then I'm gonna quickly swap them and punch with my left hand, bring my right hand back to my hip. So again from here, you reach with the opposite hand, then you punch fast at the end. Back to power ready stance, and again, reach with the opposite hand, punch fast. And back to ready. Okay, let's have a go at doing a few of those on each leg. So I'm going to step forwards into walking stance punch, right leg, right hand. Ready. Okay, so the first 6 moves of Chon Ji contain the low block in walking stance that we've practiced and the punch in walking stance that we've practiced. So you're going to step to your left into a walking stance. So my left leg is going to step out into a left leg low block in walking stance here. Then I'm going to step forwards into a walking stance punch. So my right leg here is going to step forwards, walking stance punch. Then I'm going to lift up my right leg, bring it all the way around to the other side. So my right leg is still in front here, back into my walking stance low block. And then I'm going to step forwards into a left leg walking stance punch. Now my left leg, which is my front leg, is going to come to the front of the room into a walking stance low block. And then from here I'm going to step forwards into a walking stance punch. And then that's it, come back to ready. So we'll do that one more time, all the way through. Left leg to your left into walking stance, low block. And then stepping forwards into walking stance middle punch, bringing my front leg all the way around to the other side into walking stance low block, step forwards, walking stance punch. Now my front leg, which is my left leg, is going to come to the front of the room into a walking stance low block, and then stepping forwards, walking stance punch, finishing with my right hand, right leg in front. Okay, if we put that all together then, this is what it's going to look like. And back to ready. So I hope you've all enjoyed that lesson, going over the basic fundamental moves that are used in most patterns in Taekwondo. Facing the front, chariot, heels together, arms out to the side, and kunye.